Bonjour Singapore, this is former France and Chelsea midfield Marcel Desailly, and you are listening to the guys on 938 Live Sport.
This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.
Everywhere with you.
Daikin. From 938 Live.
This is Formula One driver Fernando Alonso.
Hi Singapore, I'm Jürgen Klinsmann.
Hi, I'm Martin Tyler.
This is Annika Sorensen.
Hi Singapore, this is Johnny Wilson. You're locked on to the best in sport. Cheers.
You're listening to Singapore's longest running and only sports talk show on radio. A good Saturday to you and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm Raj Kumar and today our focus is centered, of course, on the 2014 FIFA World Cup. 9 days of action so far as the teams have already begun their second group matches, and over the next 45 minutes or so we are going to preview the upcoming matches and predict the teams which will be advancing into the knockout stage. We'll also be giving away prizes from Adidas and Sony Music in a phone-in contest. Now we all know that Spain were knocked out after losing to the Chileans 2-0, but let's not forget that they did dominate the world stage for the last 6 years by winning back-to-back European Championships plus their very first World Cup trophy in 2010. So in recognition of that extraordinary run of 6 years, we are giving away not one, not two, but three national home jerseys of Spain worth $100 each. We're giving away the large size version only though, and we're also giving away the official World Cup CD album, which has close to 20 tracks from several renowned artists like Shakira, J-Lo, Pitbull, Ricky Martin and more. That of course is courtesy of Sony Music. So that's in our phone-in contest coming up in just a while, where you have to answer a simple question based on the World Cup. The answer will probably, you can hear it during the next 20 minutes. Alright then, it's time to interview our panel of guests on SportsZone. And appearing for the very first time on this show is the Flying Dutchman from the Gold Breakfast Show. He's joined by Jeremy Retnam, who's the host of Class 95's Your Best Music program, which takes place on weekday afternoons. And completing the lineup is a former MediaCorp artist and the ex-national team manager Colin Chee. You never know, maybe the next one. A good Saturday, gentlemen, and welcome to SportsZone on 938 Live. Flying Dutchman. Of course, FD, let's begin with you. And it's been about a year since you moved from Class 95 to Gold 90.5.
Absolutely.
How has the transition been for you?
It's wonderful, having gone from a station like Class to Gold. And the one thing I walk away with is no pressure. It's kind of nice. But no, I'm having a ball of a time working with Vanetta. Having worked with her before, it's great fun.
That's right. I mean, the three of you together with Glenn, you were on the Morning Express.
That's right.
So what would you say is the difference, the main difference from the Morning Express on Class and the Gold Breakfast Show?
I think the Class Breakfast Show, the Gold Breakfast Show is, how do I put a difference on it? We are frivolous, we're light, we're funny, we realize you're stuck in a jam and you really don't want to be pressurized with too much facts and figures and stuff like that. So we basically try and give you a giggle on the way to work. And of course, hopefully it works.
And you have Brian Richmond as well.
We've got Brian there as well, which helps. You know, every time we need something that's anything more than 25 years old, we go, Brian, what happened?
He's actually away now. I think
he's away in London. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. Probably celebrating with the English, I don't know. Let's now hear from Jeremy Retnam, who came on board MediaCorp just about a year ago. Jeremy, you're the host of the afternoon show called Your Best Music. What is that program about?
Well, good morning, Raj. Well, it's all about the listeners and the fans Facebooking, calling, or tweeting their favorite songs, and they've got it. I've got it, and I'll play it for them right away. It's that instantaneous.
Oh, so it's a pure dedication show, straight.
Requests, dedications, nice. And we go out in the streets and we record, fans if they want a song, we put it back on the radio and they'll have their song right away.
Awesome. With the second half of the year coming up, I'm assuming I'm assuming Retrolicious is probably coming back. You probably can't say anything about it. Or can you?
Go on, say something about it.
Well, we're planning for some huge events. That's all I can say. And who knows? Retrolicious might be popping up by the end of the year again, and we'll have some amazing acts. Performance that will be on stage again. Where exactly? Don't know yet. When? Also don't know. But everyone's invited.
I get invited too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Happy to. Yes.
That's right. Stay tuned for more from Class 95. Of course, Robbie Williams is coming to Singapore.
Yes.
It was announced day before yesterday.
That's right. It's going to be really good.
Along with the Pet Shop Boys.
Yes. Nice.
And I can't remember the year. Okay.
John Legend.
John Legend. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Now, completing the lineup of the guests on today is Colin Chee. Colin is no stranger to SportsZone. Colin has been, you've been transiting from Singapore and Indonesia pretty often.
Yeah, so I've been living in Indonesia for the last 5 years.
Indonesia?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live in Medan, Sumatra.
Because your family is based there?
My family is based here. I'm there to help out my in-law business.
Okay.
Doing food distribution. So it's a fantastic experience for me.
Okay.
I was talking this morning to Flying Dutchman. Living there, then I appreciate what we have here. Because then we know how poor they are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin, of course, is no stranger to the viewers on Channel 8 because he was a MediaCorp artist for several years. And I understand you were also the technical advisor on the current, I believe it's still running, the Channel 8 Mandarin drama, which is focused on football. Of course, it's named
World at Your Feet.
World at Your Feet, yeah.
Yeah, I came back last November to be with them for 6 weeks to complete this series. But most important, I was very lucky to get back former national player Lee Man Hon to help me because I've been traveling two ways. So Man Hon basically helped me to complete the rest of the program. We have fun. For me, it's the first time MediaCorp produced a football TV serial.
Yeah.
And I think
for Channel 8.
For Channel 8.
Because they had, Channel 5 had the
First 11?
The first 11.
First 11. But for TV drama...
Well done, Jeremy. You actually watched Channel 5.
I came back because of this. I want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's worth it, and seeing some old colleagues.
Like
and I had good fun. Teh Ping Hui, Edmund Tay. Yeah, have good fun. Good fun.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's get the football discussion underway, and let's talk about Group D first. And FD, were you surprised by the 1-0 defeat of the 4-time world champions this morning at the hands of the Costa Ricans?
Is there anything that doesn't surprise you about the Costa Ricans in this World Cup? I was surprised and yet not surprised. I was surprised that they lost. I was not surprised at the fact that Costa Rica beat them. I think Costa Rica is a team that's got pace. I think they're a team that has complete and absolute belief in themselves, and they've got nothing to lose. They've got absolutely nothing to lose. So they went out there with the right approach. We can do this. And with a little bit of luck, they did.
With just that one goal.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it takes, right? It takes one goal.
What do you think went wrong for the Azzurri?
I think what went wrong for the Azzurri was basically an overestimation or an underestimation of what the Costa Ricans were capable of. I think the same thing happened with Spain, and that's why they're out. They underestimated everybody that they came up against. We're two-time European champions. We're world champions. We can do this. And I think the Azzurri made the same mistake.
Colin, were you impressed, or what were you impressed with
Costa Rican?
With Costa Ricans playing style?
I think first of all, they remind me very much of South Korea in 2002. They fear nobody. They play pressure football, which those days, a smaller team like Costa Rica, Asia team like Korea, Japan, we will play defensive football, going for counter attack. But look at Costa Rica, look at the other small nation. They press. From the first minute, they press. And I think the fan in South America, Central America, played a very important role in this World Cup.
Yeah, I think because a lot of the Brazilians are supporting a lot of the South American teams.
I think they are.
The Spaniards were booed, the Portuguese were booed.
Yeah.
Never forget, the Europeans have never won anything.
Yeah.
Any World Cup in South America, and the South America not going to let it happen.
Is there a Costa Rican player that you want to single out for mention?
Jay Campbell, the 21-year-old striker, and the other one, I think, the coach. Because every good team, you need a good leader. And I felt the coach played a very important part because he gave motivation and confidence to the player. Look at England compared to them.
Yeah.
It's such a great war of difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We're coming to England. That was the follow-up. That's the follow-up question now. Jeremy, by virtue of Costa Rica's win, England are once again out of the World Cup and in the group stage. What do you think about their premature exit?
Raj, it's so strange that the Costa Rica haven't been played England and they've knocked them out already. It's
amazing.
It's just unbelievable. And having a chat with FD Collins well earlier on this morning, and honestly, really, Costa Rica are just too quick. They're a quicker team for the Europeans in this case to keep pace with. I think Uruguay underestimated Costa Rica. That's one.
Absolutely.
Italy did that too as well. And they're like chili buddies and they're running around really quick.
But having said that, the Uruguayans did not have Luis Suarez in that particular match.
Okay, but still, you're not a one-man team, are you? Come on.
True.
England out of the World Cup, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Even before the World Cup had begun, there were folks writing him off already. Some were saying they were going to be the dark horses. But really, I don't see England winning the World Cup ever. Maybe even in their home soil, it's going to be difficult too.
Wow.
They probably don't have the experience back in '66 and now compared. They don't have the experience for England to be charged in a full 1 month tournament. Maybe a couple of games here and there, they'll do it. But if it's a full 1 month, I don't think so. They can perform.
And we're talking about the best of the Premier League.
Oh
Yeah.
Looking ahead to England versus Costa Rica. Costa Rica have 6 points. Uruguay and the Italians have 3 each, while England have none. So England versus Costa Rica.
I think we have to look at that game very carefully. Before we go into that game, we have to congratulate England on consistency for being knocked out again. I think they are a very consistent team. I think against Costa Rica, I'm keeping my money in the bank, but if I had 20 cents, I would say a draw.
Do you think England will? Roy Hodgson will probably give the rest of the squad. Frank Lampard hasn't appeared. Ricky Lambert hasn't appeared.
I think what he needs to do is he needs to drop Rooney.
Yeah,
he needs to drop Rooney. Rooney is an absolute waste of time. And I'm a huge Liverpool fan, but he's got to drop Steven Gerrard. That's a jinx.
There are 4 Liverpool fans in the studio for the first time. That's a first for SportsZone.
That's a jinx.
Yeah,
Steven Gerrard's a jinx. I'm sorry. We lost the BPL because he slipped to Chelsea, and look what he did. Look what he did for England. I'm sorry.
Jeremy, a quick preview of the Italians versus Uruguay. This is, I think, a do or die for either team.
Yes, it is going to be a really massive game for both the South Americans and the Europeans. I feel that the Azuris don't have it. Again, what Colin said, it's difficult to see a European team doing well on a South American soil. And I think Uruguayans will prove themselves right again. And Suarez coming on twice, scoring in the last match against the English, will do the same thing again, and they will just nick it rather by a goal to nil for against Italy.
Wow.
Okay, so you think the Uruguayans will go through? Yeah. Colin, is it going to be Uruguay or Italy to go through to join Costa Rica?
I would take Italy because traditionally in football, Italy don't start well at group stage.
Yeah,
they pick up later.
Pick up later. Yeah. Somehow they do have 1 or 2 good players. They're still keeping. Of course, Luis Suarez is such a good player. I'm a Liverpool fan. But having said that, Italians are very good in man marking. This is what they have been good all this while. So I think a draw, Italy will qualify if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. You're listening to SportsZone on 9-3 Live, and today it's all about the ongoing FIFA World Cup. And with me in the studio are my guests, and they are the Flying Dutchman from the Gold Breakfast Show. He's joined by Jeremy Retnam, who's the host of Class 95's Your Best Music program. And completing the lineup is a former MediaCorp artist and ex-national team manager, Colin Chee. Now turning to Group E. Colin, Switzerland. What do you want?
I saw them play this morning.
Yeah. I mean, a Facebook posting said the Swiss should just stick to making army knives, chocolates, and maybe watches. Yeah, exactly.
A couple of good watches.
Yeah. A 5-2 hammering at the hands of the French. What happened, man?
I think the French played very well. We have forgotten the final World Cup warm-up game. French actually won 8-0 against Jamaica, and last game they won 3-0 against Honduras. Now look at the way they attack. Those are the days where all the older players were around. They're using a lot of young players. And so Pogba, the Juventus player, the confidence they have. I think this World Cup, due to the hot weather, many coaches start bringing young players from especially the team from the Europe. Yeah, the weather is really hot. So the other thing is that they have nothing to fear. I mean, playing in South America, you look at the stadium, every game is full house. So I think the players want to perform. Those younger players want to perform. So I think this is a very balanced French team they have. Beating Switzerland 5-2, of course, is a little bit of outrageous. But having said that, this World Cup we have been seeing goals. Look at the amount of goals in the first 10 matches.
Yeah,
it's the highest.
It's averaging 3 almost.
It's an amazing scoreline that we've had.
Jeremy, surprised to see the French take a 3-goal lead by halftime. They were actually 5 goals ahead before the Swiss came back with 2 late goals in the last 10 minutes. Who's impressed you in the French squad so far? Le Bleu.
Well, honestly, I don't think so. They could have taken a 4-5 goal lead in the first half. They were just so good. one name stands out. Not Ribéry. Everyone's talking about him. He's finished. But no, forget him. It's Karim Benzema.
Yeah.
He could be, even if those goals were allowed, if he scored his penalty, if he had actually scored that last late-minute goal, which the referee had blown the whistle, and then he's got a sixth goal. He could be on top of the goal scorers chart. It has to be Karim Benzema. He's on form. He's on fire. He's quick, and he will take the French into the next stage proper, and probably and possibly into the quarters as well.
That's right. Benzema, of course, plays for Real Madrid,
Real
right?
Madrid,
along with the likes of Iker Casillas and Ronaldo. Now, FD, the Ecuadorians beat Honduras by 2-1 to actually blow the group wide open. Your thoughts on the Ecuadorians now leading this group?
This is
6 points.
This is the beauty of having a round ball.
By Adidas.
By Adidas, yeah, so that helps too. But they've blown, as you're right, they've blown this whole group wide open. But again, it's games like Ecuador, Honduras that are going to make the difference in this World Cup. We've seen it with Costa Rica, we're seeing it with Ecuador, and it's going to be very interesting when we get to the next stages to see how these teams perform. Because at the next stages, I feel, it's when the usual suspects will really bring the game. So it's going to be very interesting. Ecuador leading the group right now, it's nice to see, but let's see what happens next round.
So having said that, a preview of Honduras versus Switzerland, the Swiss.
I think the Swiss are going to bounce back. There's no way they're going to draw or lose to Honduras.
Honduras are still, they don't have any points, but they beat the Swiss by a huge margin, although they have a goal difference of -4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. but I think if we have to look at Switzerland, they've got to raise their game. They've got to bring it. They've got to realize that they cannot go down to a team like Honduras.
Okay,
that makes no sense.
Jeremy, the French and Ecuador.
If there's a chance for Karim Benzema to progress and be on top of the goal scorer sheet, he's got to play here and he's got to score more goals before he moves on to the next stages. Whereas what Evie said, the usual suspects will be there, so it's be a little bit difficult for defense coming through. So I think France is going to beat Ecuador by a couple of goals.
And of course top the group.
And top the group, yes.
Top the group as well.
9 points. Yeah.
Let's move to Group F. Colin Chee. It's Argentina versus Iran tomorrow morning. Do the Iranians stand any chance, especially after the draw against Nigeria?
They will stand chance, of course. They'll park 10 buses.
Yeah.
but having said that, physically, Iranian they does not lose out to the Argentinian in terms of size and thickness. But the only thing is that I felt this time playing over here, the referee somehow is very lenient to all the free kicks.
Okay.
A little bit touches, a little bit movement, the striker fall down and they give penalty right away. So how Iranian going to contain the Argentinians? I think this is what I'm more concerned. They might give away penalties.
Okay.
Yeah.
FD, are you expecting a thrashing by the Argentinians?
I'm not expecting a thrashing from the Argentinians. I think it's going to be an incredibly physical game. Colin's absolutely right. With physicality, they are very well matched. And I think it's going to be a very, very brutal game. I think the brutality will be brought by the Iranians.
Jeremy, do you expect Lionel Messi to weave his magic again, or will one or two others?
He probably will again. He scored his first goal, and I believe this time they're going to take a different approach. They're a little bit defensive for the first game for Argentina. Now they'll probably, against Iran, I think the goal out, instead of a 5-3-2, they'll probably do a 4-3-3. And I do believe Gonzalo Higuain is going to make a start for this game tonight at midnight. So there's every chance that Higuain, Angel Di Maria is also going to be on board with Messi. They will combine and they will score, and the score will be a high-scoring game. Not an 8-0 Jamaica game, but a high-scoring game.
Wow, that'll be interesting.
Nice. Colin, just before we head to the news headlines, very quickly, Bosnia-Herzegovina versus the Super Eagles, which is kicking off at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Does Edin Dzeko have the ability to lead his squad to victory over the...
I think so. Among all the African team, Nigeria is the one I felt that is the weakest among them all this time round. For Bosnia, very disciplined team, and I think they're going to beat the Nigerian.
Jeremy, how do you think the Super Eagles will respond against the Bosnians?
I don't see the Super Eagles flying high against the Bosnians. Seeing them against the Argentinians, Bosnia against Argentina, they were good. Bosnia did very well in attacking, so I see the Bosnians defeating the Super Eagles again by a goal.
FD, you agree? Bosnia and Nigeria?
I think by a goal.
Bosnia by
a goal.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be very much more than that.
All right, that's it. That's the end of part 1 on SportsZone. Coming up after the news headlines, we'll be talking about the other 5 groups. Plus, it's your chance to win one of 3 national jerseys of Spain and the official World Cup CD album. The contest is coming up on part 2 of SportsZone right here on 938 Live.
This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.
Everywhere with you.
Daikin.
Good day, Singapore. This is former Manchester United player Peter Schmeichel, and you're listening to the guys on 938 Live Sports.
This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.
Everywhere with you.
Daikin.
You're listening to SportsZone on 938 Live. I'm the Rajman, and today it's all about the ongoing FIFA World Cup. And with me in the studio are my guests, and they are the Flying Dutchman from the Gold Breakfast Show. He's joined by Jeremy Retnam, who's the host of Class 95's Your Best Music program on weekday afternoons. And completing the lineup is a former MediaCorp artist and the ex-national team manager, Colin Chee. Now, we just discussed about groups D, E, and F. But before we go further into the other groups, it's time to give away the prizes which I mentioned earlier, courtesy of Adidas Singapore and Sony Music. And a reminder for those of you who have won prizes in the last 4 weeks on this very show, SportsZone, you of course cannot take part today. Let's give the rest a chance. So we're giving away 3 national team jerseys for Spain. It's worth $100 each. And in addition, all 3 winners will also get a copy of the latest World Cup album with the likes of the Baha Men, Sergio Mendes, Shakira, and Ricky Martin all performing on the CD. The album is called One Love, One Rhythm. It's now available on iTunes, Spotify, Empt, and at all good record stores. For a chance to win a fantastic Adidas Spanish jersey and a World Cup CD by Sony Music, call now and tell us the answer to this question. Spain's #1 goalkeeper is Iker Casillas. Which club does he play for? Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Atletico Madrid? Spain's #1 goalkeeper is Iker Casillas. Which club does he play for? Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Atletico Madrid? Call now 66911938. That's 66911938. All right, we've already talked about groups D, E, and F. FD, let's resume with Group G and tomorrow's clash between the Germans and the Ghanaians. Are you expecting a tough fight or walk in the park for the Germans?
You know, really, I view the German team as a machine. It's not a football team with flair. It is a well-oiled machine.
It is not a team with flair?
No, it is a well-oiled machine.
Okay.
They are clinical. They are absolutely clinical. And I think that is the secret behind their success. I don't think Ghana have anything to bring to this game.
But we can say that the Germans, the style of play has changed dramatically. I mean, they used to be known as very robotic, very stiff, but ever since Klinsmann in the 2006 World Cup.
Ago.
Yeah.
I still don't think they have the flair of some of the other teams that we've seen.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry. You know, maybe I'm biased. I mean, I love the way they play. It is. I'm out there to do this, and this is exactly how I'm going to do it, and that's the result I'm going to achieve. I'm not going to try anything special. I'm not going to try and show off. This is my result. This is what I'm going to get. And I think that works for the Germans.
Okay.
It's worked ever since they started up their schools of excellence to produce the football players that they have.
Colin Chee, who will be the key man again for Deutschland?
I think I look at Kroos.
Toni Kroos.
Yeah. Even Boateng. I think they have very good players. They're a very average team. One thing I have to emphasize, in this World Cup, they don't have many world-class goalkeepers, but Germany have one.
Yeah, they do.
You see, this is very important for any team who want to win champion.
You're referring to Neuer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel it's very important. But having, I want to support what Flying Dutchman say. They are very good at execution.
Yeah.
You see, everything that we do, we must come to the final thing is execution, which the German have that. They can put a 34-year-old striker, he do the execution.
Yeah.
So you can play whatever style you want, like Arsenal, whoever you are, but you can't win anything.
Yeah.
It's about execution, and German have that. And just like the old Manchester United, they have that.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, we'll see the two brothers, I think, in action.
Boateng.
The two Boatengs.
Yeah. That's going to be quite interesting.
Jeremy, can the Black Stars, with several prominent names like Asamoah Gyan, Soliman Tari, and even Michael Essien, do you think they can upset the Germans?
Yeah, they're all good names. They're all good players. They're all fantastic players. But I feel they won't be enough to overhaul the Germans. I have to go down the road again because I've been following Germany. I'm not a huge fan of the German international team.
Yeah.
But I think they are just a great team, and they proved it in their 4-0 win, their first game. They won 4-0 the first opening time. So they're just too good. They're great.
So going round the table, nobody believes that Ghana will be able to beat the Germans tomorrow.
Nobody believes it, but I think at the end of the day, if the Ghanaians do, everybody will go, didn't surprise me.
That's true.
It's been that World Cup, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's just Brazil. It's just the atmosphere playing in Brazil.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Jeremy, staying with this same group, your thoughts on the Portuguese versus the United States?
The US have done it before in South Korea, Japan. They've beaten Portugal 3-2. I think they'll beat them again 3-2. Same scenario. Portugal is, we all know, everyone said this before, it's a one-man team. And it's going to be that way. And for America, for the US of A, they've improved so much. And under Klinsmann, they are going to be clinical. They've done it. They did defeat Ghana in style and right to the very death. And they'll do it again against Portugal.
We still don't know what is the outcome of Josie Altidore, whether he's going to be fit enough to play. Colin, Jeremy just mentioned about a one-man team. So do you see Cristiano Ronaldo and his buddies suffering the same ill fortunes of the Spaniards, the Socceroos, and Cameroon?
I think it might be a draw game for me. Personally, Ronaldo, he is trying to prove, but it's still his personal effort only, because the rest of the team, I don't see they can live up to this level. To me, Portuguese, they are very similar to the English, always expecting something from them, but they can never get there.
Wow, don't tell the English that.
FD, do you feel Jurgen Klinsmann, the US coach, will be able to mastermind a winning strategy for the Stars
I think I agree with everybody. Portugal is a one-man team. I think Klinsmann's going to bring it, and the Portuguese are going to go down, but it will be 1-0.
Wow, nobody thinks Ronaldo, the player of the year, is able...
You're going to put one man up against 11? Come on. Come on.
Okay.
You will need supreme magic from Ronaldo.
But Uruguay were also banking on Suarez. If Suarez did not play against England, I think it might have been a different outcome.
But Uruguay have good player who can able to read Suarez game.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of difference.
Like Cavani.
Yeah, look at how he crossed the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, those are understanding.
And remember that Suarez had a point to prove against England.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be going back to the UK at all. I think I'm just going to veto it.
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, passport is going to be cancelled. You're not allowed back into the UK.
I'm waiting for that first Liverpool game of the season, man. It's going to be good.
No, everybody is saying that. See, that's it. He's not going to play for Liverpool anymore. He's probably going to go to the La Liga.
Absolutely.
Okay, before we go any further, let's announce our 3 contest winners. I asked you earlier, which La Liga club does Spain's national goalkeeper Iker Casillas play for? The answer, of course, is Real Madrid. And our 3 winners are Desmond Tan, Charlton Ho, and Mahindran Munisamy. That's Desmond, Charlton, and Mahindran. Congratulations. You've each won for yourselves a Spanish jersey and a World Cup CD. More details about the jerseys can be found on the Adidas SG Facebook page, or you can go down actually to Wisma Atria and check out their pop-up store, which contains all of the World Cup merchandise. And as for the CD album, which is called One Love, One Rhythm, it's now available on iTunes, Spotify, Amped, and all good record stores. Thanks again to our kind sponsors Adidas Singapore and Sony Music for our prizes. Alright boys, let's turn the focus to Group H. Jeremy, surprised to see the Belgians with the wealth of talent actually struggle against Algeria in the opening match.
And even before the World Cup had begun, everyone's touting them to be the dark horses.
Yes.
Everywhere you went, they said they're going to be good. Individual skills, each one of them in their appropriate places, from the goalkeeper right through to the front. They were all very good. But having said that, I think this is the big stage for the Belgians. They can perform at club level, and my feeling is that's where they'll succeed. But now coming together on the world stage and trying to gel together as a team, it hasn't really put forth for the Belgians' side, and that's where I think they struggled a bit with the Algerians, although they did come up with 3 points at the end of the day. It's a learning curve for them, but the Belgians might just pull through into the next stage.
And like you said, they were ranked the dark horses. Absolutely. Every name is a household name. They are the second team outside of England to have all Premier League players.
Yep.
And having said that, Colin, what must the Belgians do to overcome a Russian side, which is led, of course, by the former England coach Fabio Capello?
I remember I saw South Korea drew 1-1 with the Russians. Yeah, and that game actually the Korean played very well. But what surprises me is that this Russian team somehow is quite slow defensively. You know, the lack of that sort of attacking, counter-attack power, speed in front. So I would think Belgium going to win this game. Basically, they have very good young players. They got speed. And most important, I felt the most of the players in Belgium, they've been playing together for such a long time for this stage. So they've been together for at least 4 to 6 years. So I think this Belgian team will do very well in this tournament.
FD, do you agree the fact that the Belgians will win, or can the Russians create an upset tomorrow?
I think it is going to be a Belgium game. I think because they've spent so much time together that they're an okay unit. I don't think they're going to progress very far in this tournament, but they've got enough to outdo the Russians. I agree, the Russians are slow. I think it's just too much playing football in the snow. I'm not sure.
It's true,
slow.
and that could really.
It's going to affect the Russians.
Yeah, because of the heat and the humidity. Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it happen in South America before. I mean, we go back to Mexico, and you saw what the heat did to everybody in Mexico. It's going to happen again here in Brazil.
Jeremy, the other clash between Algeria and the South Koreans, it's Africa versus Asia. Who are you gunning for the win?
I'm pipping the South Koreans, and I'm hoping Asia gets a real nice 3 points in this case. The Koreans drawing their first game. I'm going all out for the South Koreans to defeat Algeria by a couple of goals.
FD, any play in the Korean side standing out for you?
No.
I mean, they are led by the head coach Ho Myung-bo, who he of course played in 2002.
I don't have a Korean player that stands out for me, but I do agree that they are an Asian team ready to deliver a surprise. And I think at the end of the day, when they deliver that surprise, all of us, even us in Singapore, can go, yay. Asia, we're all right.
Colin, a prediction for this particular game, Algeria and South Korea.
I would take the South Korean because, you know, if you look at it now, so far no Asia team have a win. And this is very crucial for Asian football. And I think just like what
except for
says,
even Australia lost. So
they're not really Asian, you know what I mean?
But you know, we should tell Sepp Blatter, hey, hello. Since you brought the Aussies in, they've qualified for every World Cup.
It's true.
At the expense of an Asian team.
This is true.
So that's politics. Let's turn the focus to group. You never know. Sepp Blatter might not be around next year. As a FIFA president. Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay. Let's turn the focus to Group A, as Brazil and Mexico are already on 4 points each. Croatia on 3, while Cameroon don't have any points. The Brazilians will meet Cameroon, while the Mexicans are up against the Croatians in the final match. Both games will be played simultaneously. Colin, what's your take on Mexico versus the Croats?
I've been looking at the Mexican. I thought they are ready. It's just a home ground to them.
Yeah.
Look at the stadium. I mean, they are Croatian supporters, but however, Mexican speed under this heat and teamwork, they will beat Croatia.
Jeremy, do you think there is a weakness in the Mexican squad at all?
No, the Central American team being so close to South America, there is not really any weakness per se. Well, maybe the forward portion, the final third for Mexico might be a bit of a weakness in scoring abilities, but we should turn it around and say that the true strength of Mexico is their goalkeeper, Guillermo Ochoa, who's just been unbelievable, fantastic. And if there's ever one person that needs to be singled out in the Mexican team for strength, it has to be the goalkeeper.
I mean, his performance just after that game against Brazil, I think within 1 hour on social media, I believe
40,000 mentions.
Yeah, on social media. And that was 10,000 more than Neymar.
Yeah.
You know,
And that included Kobe Bryant. What was he doing watching football? Seriously.
Watching football.
We've seen him in the ads. I mean, him and Lionel Messi. And,
it's true.
FD, staying with you, is there a key witness to the Croatian side? I mean, we did see Ivica Olic scoring his first goal since 2002.
I think what Croatia has got to learn they've got to learn from the other teams that have come into this World Cup when they face Mexico. Mexico has got that amazing goalkeeper. They have got a virtual home ground advantage. Don't be surprised, like the Spanish, like the Italians, and underestimate this Mexican team. You know, it is a relatively unknown team. But this World Cup has proved to be a boon for unknown teams. And if there is a weakness in Croatia, it's the fact that they may underestimate the Mexicans. And that will be their downfall.
Okay, so let's recap. Brazil and Mexico are already on 4 points. Croatia have 3. Cameroon don't have any points. Colin, the final prediction from this group. Will the Brazilians make it? Or do you see, because the Brazilians will meet Cameroon?
Of course, Brazilian will go through.
Okay, so Cameroon don't have a chance to even stop the Brazilians at all?
No chance.
Okay.
No.
And Jeremy?
Well, it's going to be Mexico and Brazil. Simple as that. These two are going to go through.
FD?
I concur. Brazil, Mexico.
All right then. Time for Traffic Watch, and when we return, we'll talk about the last 2 groups from Groups B and C.
Hey Singapore, this is Liverpool legend Ian Rush. For all your football news, stay tuned to 938 Live Sports.
Okay, welcome back to the final stretch of SportsZone. You're in the company of the Rajman, along with Colin Chee, the Flying Dutchman, and Jeremy Retnam. Let's preview the final 2 groups, and they are, of course, Groups B and C. FD, we already know that the Dutch and Chile from Group B are through to the last 16. But what truly, in your opinion, happened to the world champions in this campaign? Of course, I'm talking about Spain.
I think they came in a little overconfident. I think they came in with players who were not prepped properly.
Yeah. You said this even, I think, 2 weeks before the World Cup.
I predicted to you 2 weeks before the World Cup that Spain wouldn't make it past this stage.
Yeah.
I just had a feeling that they had nothing more to play for. The players had nothing more to play for. I've done it all. I've won it domestically wherever I play. I've won it on the European stage. I've won it on the world stage. This is going to be a walk in the park for me. And they got slapped upside the head. That was basically what it was. That's basically what it was.
Colin, do you think Del Bosque will get the sack just after the World Cup?
Man, I hope so.
That's not from me. It depends. I mean, at least he brought them glory previously. So it depends what plan he has for the future. Because I felt the biggest problem with this team is predictable. You see, he didn't insert many good young players into the team, which they have.
Yes, they do.
So they're doing the same thing over and over again. Now, after this World Cup, if the boss decided to say, okay, I learned something and I'm going to be honest to myself, I'm going to tell the Spanish FA and say, this is my plan. Are you going to accept it? Yeah, this is, I'm not sure whether he can get sacked or not, but most important, what he has in mind for the future.
Maybe they should keep him to Euro 2016 because, I mean, he did win the Euro,
Emotionally, I'm afraid that he might just use back the same players because he said, you see, this is what they have given to me. Maybe it's just a one-off, but they're still my good players. So this is very dangerous.
Jeremy, what do you think about Australia's performances and losing by that odd goal to Holland a few nights ago?
Every time you see Australia play and on cable, you see it. Wow, they're on the verge of winning.
Yeah.
They can win. They can win a game.
Yeah.
And they surprise so many that in the end, they just lose by that odd goal, as you just said. Against the Chileans, they could have drawn. They could have easily won the game. Against Australia, they could have won it. They were in the lead. Yeah. And then they lost it at the very end. So Australia's been a surprising, great surprising team for that group itself. And I feel... They are going to beat Spain in that final game, which has got nothing to do with that.
That's right. I mean, that is probably just for pride to play for, and probably the last time we'll see the likes of Tim Cahill, Torres, Casillas, David Villa. So, having said that, what do you think that outcome will be? Australia and Spain.
It's a very good chance for Asia. Asia to prove a point, and Australia beating Spain, very possible on the night itself.
FD, that score?
I would say 2-1 Australia.
Wow. Colin?
Go for Spain.
Go for Spain.
Yeah,
Okay.
1-0 or 2-0.
Wow.
Okay. FD, what about your team? I believe you're still rooting for the Dutch.
Yeah, it's just the blood that runs through my veins.
So what do you think about the men in orange versus the Chileans? Whoever tops the group will probably avoid Brazil should they finish at the top of the group.
Yeah, that's the worry. I don't want Holland to face Brazil too early. I would rather the Chileans top the group and run into the possibility of facing Brazil. I don't want Holland to face Brazil too early.
It could be Holland versus Mexico.
Yeah. My fear is, and it's happened so many times with Holland, they are a great team, and Van Gaal has done amazing stuff with this team. He's got 3 or 4 really good players. He's told the rest of them, you are my slaves, just do what I tell you to do. The 4 of you, go out there and show me what you can do.
You know what, on social media, after the huge win by the Dutch over
Portugal.
Over Spain.
Spain, sorry.
The Man U fans all came out and said, look who masterminded this win.
I'll be honest.
Louis Van Gaal.
If there's a coach for the World Cup, it is Van Gaal. He is the coach of the World Cup.
Yeah, but it took Arjen Robben, who plays for Bayern Munich. Robben and Persie. Okay, Robben and Persie can.
No, see, you're only saying this because you're a Liverpool fan, dude.
We all are. We all are.
We all are.
We all are.
We all are.
Colin, do you agree with FD, or do you have a different take on?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That the men in orange will.
Yeah, they're going to win.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're the team in form.
All right, let's wrap up this discussion with a look at Group C. Jeremy, will we see Didier Drogba possibly in his last World Cup campaign as well, and the Ivory Coast go through to the round of 16 for the very first time when they face off against the Greeks?
It's just a very open group, Group C, and each time Didier Drogba comes on, there's a bit of spark, a bit of inspiration. We saw it against when the Ivory Coast played against Japan, and again the second game as well too. But really, I think they will defeat the Greeks as they face them off, and possibly progress into the last 16.
Okay. FD, any chance for Japan to take down the Colombians? I mean, the South Americans just need actually 1 point to secure a top position. Any hopes for Japan to advance further?
There actually is a hope for Japan, but they've got to play an awful game. They've got to stifle the Colombians, frustrate the Colombians, who will then lose composure, knock themselves back to about 10 men, and then the Japanese have a really good chance.
Okay.
And that is the game the Japanese need to play. It doesn't sound like beautiful football, but hey, this is the World Cup I want to go through. You know what I mean? So play it the way that it needs to be played.
Okay, we've got about 3 minutes. Colin, would you agree? Do you think Japan can actually make it this time around?
I think, actually, before the start of this World Cup, I supported the Japanese, the Asian team like Korean. But somehow, looking at this Japanese team, they have good attacking ideas. But somehow, defensive midfield, this is where they are not holding well. They don't have a good, strong holding midfield. Honda is a good attacking midfield. So he needs somebody to support him. Playing against the Colombian will counter-attack them physically. They are strong. But I think this game, Japanese were in possession most of the time. Because so far, you watch how the Japanese play, they are doing very good in possession football.
Okay. What about the coach?
Maximum is a draw for Japanese.
What about the coach, Alberto Zaccarani?
I think he did a good job.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Japanese, they are shortage of top class footballer. Honda, to me, it's a 7/10 in Europe. It's not a 10/10 like Messi, Ronaldo. He's not there yet. They don't have a player at this level to bring Japan to the next level.
Okay, 1 more minute to go. As we wrap up, 2 questions for each of you. Who has been maybe either the team or a player the biggest flop so far? And your take as the world champions on July 14th, Monday morning.
Biggest flop so far, Spain.
Okay.
Champions at the end of the day, my heart says Holland. My brain says Brazil.
Okay. Jeremy?
I'll go alongside with FD. It has to be Spain, biggest flop. But the winner, it could be anyone. Anybody could win the World Cup. But for me, it's a triple threat for C. Someone told me just last night, triple C threat. Colombia, Chile, Costa Rica. All C teams, watch them. Not Croatia, but these 3 Cs are just unbelievable. Great unity for all 3 teams.
What about Colin Chee, CC?
Yeah, why not? Yes.
That's right. Next team manager. Okay, so Colin, you got the last word. Biggest flop, either team or person, and the champions on July 14th.
I look at both sides. The biggest flop could be the biggest winner. I mean, because they're defending champion, everybody expect them to do something, and they got kicked out.
Yeah, and so it's not the first time.
Yeah,
the French did it. 2002 they crashed. The Italians did it 4 years ago. Spain are the first team to lose their opening 2 matches as world champions.
Yeah.
That's
I thought that the fans won because this is what football is all about. The boys round.
Yeah.
This is what we want in football. Doesn't mean you're strong forever. You be strong and winning all the way. Okay. No way.
I still think the Germans will win it. So FD is going with the Dutch, although he says Brazil. Jeremy,
the triple C threat.
No, you must have a.
Come on. What do you want to win?
One team, man.
Uruguay.
Wow.
Uruguay.
Okay. Colin.
Wow. I'll take the home team.
Brazil. On that note, we've come to the end of this very special World Cup edition with my 3 guests, and they are the Flying Dutchman from the Goal Breakfast Show on Goal 90.5 FM. He was joined by Jeremy Retnam, who's the host of Class 95's Your Best Music program. That's from 2 to 5.
That's 2 to 5. Your best 5, absolutely.
Okay, on weekday afternoons, and completing the lineup is a former MediaCorp artist and ex-national team manager. I keep X and neck. Well, it sounds very weird.
Keep on using the next.
You never know. Maybe
because you may be the next.
You never know. Yeah, they need all the help they can get right now.
You got to pull me back from Indonesia. Then.
I'm going to get a call from Zainuddin. So Colin Chee, thank you very much. Thanks again for everyone for joining us on SportsZone. I'm the Raj Man for 938 Live.
This football extravaganza on SportsZone is brought to you by Daikin.